Hey everyone, Team Amasian over here, Kaori, Takee,
And Campea.
and today we are going to talk about NXT's second episode since their debut on the USA Network, Hour 1 on the USA Network, Hour 2 on the WWE Network. And next week is going to be full blast 2 hours on the USA Network alongside all those belts being on the line.
Yes,
So
it's
that's
a night
gonna
of
be a good one.
champions.
With limited commercial breaks, guys. Limited commercial breaks.
I'm excited.
So I'm excited about that because I've noticed, and I'm sure for obvious reasons, they've somehow put the more interesting pieces together in the first hour, and the second one is not as interesting.
Makes sense.
Makes complete sense.
Yeah, might as well try it out, right?
Yeah.
Second hour, do some test runs.
Yeah. All right, so today we're going to talk about the matches. We're going to run down them real quick. And then we're going to talk about positives and negatives throughout. So,
Sure.
First match was...
Keith Lee.
Yes, Keith Lee, who defeated Dijakovic. Oh, that name.
Yeah, I know. That dude. This dude.
Yeah, this dude. So that match, I think, for me, it was the most entertaining match of the night. First one out of the gates. I didn't expect Kevin Lee to be so agile and acrobatic for someone his size and his weight.
Yep.
And he really, really impressed me from that roll.
Yes.
Off the rope.
Yeah.
And then his moonsaults. Everything was really, really good.
Yeah, no, I agree. I think, like you said, he was really athletic. I think they were actually a good match. When they first came out, I was like, I don't know how these two are going to play well together, but they actually fed off each other. I think even in the moves where, I don't want to say his name, Dominic, I'm going to say his first name, it's easier. Even the moves where he was the one being, you know, the one that was like the aggressor, Keith made those moves look even better.
Yeah.
Because of the way he took the bumps.
Yes.
So yeah, the kind of 360 off the top, or it might have been the top or the middle rope out to the outside, that was really cool.
Yeah.
And then I think there was a move where he actually took the bump, but it was Dominic from the top rope.
Yes.
I don't know moves, you guys, but
It's fine.
It was
We're
really
learning.
impressive because I was really nervous that Keith Lee was gonna break his neck, but he tucked his head in really well, and it was a really good move as well.
Yeah, I think they played their wrestling dance really well together.
Yeah.
And they made each other look really good.
Yeah.
But Keith Lee was the breakout star of the night for
I
me.
agree.
This
I
match
agree.
was really, really good, really interesting, and I want to see more of Keith Lee, especially.
Same.
Impressive.
I agree. That was
Yes.
a great opening match.
All right, let's move on to the next one, and it was not that, but Dakota Kai, who defeated Tainara. Some people were saying Tainara. We'll say Tainara. I predicted right away as soon as Tainara came out that she wasn't gonna win, and I mentioned to Anne most of the time when someone's obscenely sexy and they amplify that, they usually don't win or last for very long.
Yeah, she had this like shimmy going in, which was cracking me up.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, you had it. You nailed it. I mean, I think for the time of the match, it was perfect. I think any longer, I would have been disinterested.
Yes.
Dakota was definitely the better wrestler of the two, I think.
Yes, definitely a better wrestler. People were waiting for her to come back because she's been out for a little bit, and she made a comeback, and it was a short comeback and very predictable, but it was not that entertaining. Probably the least entertaining one of hour one.
You're right.
And then we have Matt Riddle, who defeated Killian Dane via submission in that street fight.
Riddle is now the #1 contender.
Right, so he's gonna go up for the NXT Championship next week, and that should be good. Riddle is really entertaining.
Yeah, I think you fell in love with him last week.
I fell in love with him last week, and then this week it's just more. I love his gimmick.
Yeah,
I love
agree.
that he's just like a bro. Reminds me of California. He's barefoot, and it just feels like he's high all the time.
Yeah.
Just whatever, like fine and happy. Or,
Yeah, and I like what they're doing, you know, kind of bringing in these guys who have that MMA background, especially in Riddle. Like, you can see some of the training that he's had outside of wrestling, and some of the moves that he was doing is very, very much from probably his MMA background.
Sure, yeah.
So it's nice to kind of mix it up in that way too.
Yeah. So this one match was really, really good, and obviously leading up to that #1 contender thing, and there was a part where they got thrown to the outskirts
Yeah.
somewhere. So it was good.
Yeah, considering last week we were a little confused because they were originally fighting last week, and then it turned out to just be this like 30-man brawl.
Yeah.
I'm glad they kind of ran it back and actually had a real match.
Yes, and I think that was interesting because last week that part was in hour 2, so I think they just
Right.
revisited it in hour 1.
Right.
Which in a way makes me think maybe they were kind of practicing for this hour 1.
And you know what? Like, you bring up a good point, because without storylines, I like this kind of continuation that they're having. So you could watch last week's NXT and this week's, and it flows together really well.
Perfectly.
And then even leading into the second hour, what was happening at the end of that, that's what they started with.
Right, exactly. So you don't really feel the need to have like these elongated promos.
Yeah.
That sometimes just are left too long, or you have the backstage interview just kind of left with their microphone.
Yes.
A lot of that I felt oftentimes is not necessary.
Yeah.
What I love about NXT, and we were talking about this, was that it doesn't feel like a rerun, right? Because we're continuously introduced to wrestlers, whether you've seen them already or not. You don't always see them.
Yeah.
Right? So when they come out, you're like, oh, okay, cool. Or, oh, there they are again.
Right.
So it's giving them the opportunity to practice or exercise wrestling, but at the same time now we get to really see these people have these wrestling practice or skills or whatever without WWE main roster creativity.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah. I mean, like you said, I think Raw, SmackDown, you see the same 10 people over and over again. And at some point you're just saturated with, you know, the Roman Reigns and the John Cenas, which I get it because they carry so much more personality and the storyline kind of brings that out too. But I think the biggest difference we're going to see, and I think we're going to touch on, because next week is when AEW and NXT go up against each other, is the breadth of the roster of NXT. It's big.
It's big. It's massive.
Yeah, and I'm consistently surprised last week and this week of all these people. I'm like, who's that? Who's that? I've never seen that person before, you know? So it's nice to see that they have a lot of people, whereas I think that's where they win over, they're better than AEW, and that AEW's roster I think is still pretty small.
Yeah. Well, I also think like when you kind of compare it to like Raw and SmackDown, and those shows have been going on for years and decades, and they don't have seasons. They like to say they have seasons, but they really don't. It's a lot harder for people to jump in, whereas right now, even though we are familiar with some of the wrestlers, we do feel like we're being introduced to a completely new show.
Right.
And that's kind of nice, right? So that's an advantage for me for watching NXT. Like, I feel more invested to come on Wednesday and talk about this with you than let's talk about Raw next week. You know?
And then it's the same thing.
Right.
We'd be talking about the same thing over and over again for a few weeks.
Exactly.
Yeah.
We would. Okay, so let's move on to hour 2, which was on the WWE Network. We had Rhea Ripley, who defeated Kaden Carter, who changed her name, I forgot from what. Anne loves her.
Already. I mean, they already said she's from the Philippines, so automatically I was like, okay, new favorite wrestler. But it's cool. I'm like, for me, it's hard. I hardly ever see Filipinos represented in wrestling, so
or Asians,
nice
for
to
that
see
matter.
that. Yeah,
they're slowly getting up there. More Japanese women. Xia Li, whatever her name was, the Chinese girl, was amazing. So represent for Team Amasian over there. So this match was a little more entertaining than the Dakota Kai match.
True.
But it was still short.
Yeah.
And it didn't need to be long.
No, I agree. I think it was the right amount of time. Not surprised by who won as well.
Yeah, we kind of threw in our little predictions at the beginning of each match, and I think we got most of them right. Kevin Lee and Dijakovic, we didn't really say anything. But anyway, so now we have Oni Lorcan and Danny Burch, who defeated Ever Rise via pinfall. So it's a tag team match. I think this was the most boring one.
I agree.
It could have been just as long as the ladies' matches of the night.
Yeah.
But it didn't withstand. We started eating cookies and started like looking at memes and
Yeah.
stuff, so it didn't capture our attention. So
Yeah.
I don't really have much to say
Same.
about that match. If you guys do, go ahead and comment below and tell us what we're missing. And then we have Diona Perazzo and Chelsea Green. Oh, on ringside, yeah, that's right. Who look the same, by the way. I know Chelsea, but I didn't know.
I know.
Diona.
Actually, if you told me they were related, I would have believed you.
And it was the one thing that bothers me though is like initial impressions, because obviously you only see them ringside, was, oh, it's Iconics again.
Yeah.
Who were the Bella Twins again, you know?
Right, right.
So there's always that like carbon copy of, that repeats itself. But we'll see, because again, it's a new show for us. Then we have Cameron Grimes, who defeats Raul Mendoza via pinfall. Again, don't remember much of this
I
match.
had higher hopes for it, to be honest with you. I thought, you know, there would be a little bit more high flying because they are kind of like middleweight men, but there was nobody who really stood out in that match either.
No, it's not really. So like, as you can see, we've this trend of lull matches in hour 2, and I think that was for a reason. So I would like to see them get better, and maybe that way we can get more interest.
Yeah.
For whatever the reason, or who knows, like maybe it's just their round to see how they do in a TV presence.
I think that's it. I think this is their time. They had last week, this week with hour 2 to kind of test run some of these potential matches for when they actually have the 2 hours on USA.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And that's a thrilling thing for them too. You know, imagine Matt Riddle being like, oh my gosh, I'm going to be the #1 contender for the premiere of at WWE NXT for the 2-hour premiere with limited commercial break.
Yes.
Nice
pointing that out.
And then also the main event of hour 2 was Kushida, who had his 2 mystery partners, who ended up being Breezango.
That was awesome.
Versus 3 of the 4 Imperium clan. Walter obviously backstage until the end of the match.
Yep.
And good match.
I loved it.
Yeah.
I think it definitely recovered the lull of hour 2.
Yes.
And it was a good match to end on as well.
Recovered is the right word.
Yeah. Yeah.
Very, very smart of them to put them at the end. It saved anything that kind of went dull. I was going to call him Chris. But Fandango was...
That's his real name.
Yeah.
Oh.
Fandango...
See, they're on a real first name basis.
Total Divas. I just remember him hating on Summer Rae on Total Divas. Yeah, but yeah, so I think, you know, Kushida's really interesting with his Marty McFly look.
Yeah.
Tiny but fierce, and
Yeah.
I like that style he has. It kind of reminds me of Tozawa, which is like he's in the 205 right now. Just kind of, what's the word? Campy but serious. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I can see that.
But his moves are legit.
Yeah, and the pin was amazing.
Yeah, really good pin.
I can't even do that.
Love that pin. I was like, what the?
Yeah.
And for him to actually like get them to count out was great.
Yeah.
And then, you know, Fandango was suddenly, when he comes into the ring, fierce. And
Yes.
It's good to have Breezango in NXT actually, because I think they're shining way better on this brand than the other brand.
No, I agree. I agree. And then Fandango had that move where he jumped over the top rope to kind of hit the 3 guys. And you pointed out, he landed on his feet when he did
landed
that.
on his feet.
I mean, he's so athletic.
Yeah, so athletic. And that's what I love about it. It's like, you put them on this brand and it's suddenly not cheesy.
Yeah.
And we did love them on Raw as Breezango. They're humorous, entertaining. It was like comic relief. But you can take them a little more serious on the NXT brand.
Yeah.
And then Imperium, who got their asses pinned. And then Walter comes out, and I think the feud kind of continues.
I think it can.
They kicked Marty McFly's butt.
Yeah.
So I think that's kind of what they're going for.
Yeah.
Right, for hour 2, they're probably going to end up in that 2-hour span at some point within the next month. Is my easy prediction. So overall thoughts of NXT's out of the gates week 2.
I would say, again, week 1 was spectacular. I think anytime you can watch it and be like, oh my God, that hour is done already.
Yeah.
Like that's how I felt watching that first hour.
The first hour, yes.
Yeah.
And it was like such a nice thing. It was like, oh, I'm not ready for that.
No.
And now I have to wait another week. It just, again, it feels like a show that you're invested in.
Yeah, yeah.
Not like, oh, okay, so Roman Reigns, I'm gonna go cook right now.
Right, right. Oh, they're talking? Okay, yeah, I'm gonna go to the bathroom. But it's like, yeah, I totally. And I hope that they can carry that energy through next week when they have the full 2 hours.
Yes, I think so. And I hope so too. And also they're going up against AEW, as you mentioned, and that's a really, really big thing. I think a lot of people are, it's funny because I think a lot of people are curious to see how the ratings are going to go up against each other. But I really have a feeling that NXT is going to win.
Gosh, it's going to be tough because we looked at both, you know, cards that are set up for next week. You've got the Night of Champions for NXT. I'm super stoked that finally Street Profits are fighting because every week I'm like, are they fighting? Are they fighting? No, not yet. Okay, they're saving that match. They've got the Women's Championship that's going on. And then they've got now Riddle going for the championship as well. So there's so many good matches. And then when we looked at AEW, I mean, you've got Cody Rhodes who has a match. You have Jericho who has a mystery partners that are coming in. So a lot of people speculate that might be big reveals of people joining AEW. So they're definitely trying to stack their matches equally to what NXT is going to offer next week.
Yes, I mean, if anything, AEW is lighting fire underneath WWE's ass. I'm for sure NXT wouldn't have gone live if AEW didn't announce their move to TNT.
God, yeah.
100%.
Yeah.
So I think AEW coming into light has been a benefit for all wrestling fans.
Totally.
In many ways. And, you know, we got Wednesday Night Wars, which is going to be great. But I still predict, just because NXT had 2 weeks of us to prepare, so people who are new to wrestling already have a little mild investment to them, where AEW people will be like, who's that? I don't know who Cody Rhodes is, but they're already packaged.
Yeah, that's a good point. Yeah, I'm not sure what we're gonna see. I think I still like the kind of lower production value of NXT.
Sure.
Meaning like they're still focusing on the wrestling, no storylines, no promos. I think AEW is going to bring a little bit more of that. I noticed like in the last few pay-per-views for AEW, like their stage is getting a little bit larger, right? Yeah. They're getting a little bit more storyline, so I'm not sure how much of that they're going to focus on. So we'll just see. I think it's like a preference as well.
Yeah, and I think a lot of wrestling fans are going to end up watching both. It's just a matter of what they're going to watch first,
right? Or
during the ratings countdown, right? So overall, we'll probably watch both. We'll definitely be here to recap NXT just because the head start and it's our show right now. Yeah. And Anne has a belt, so I'm the #1 contender.
Maybe next week she'll be holding this. Yeah, but definitely, and we'll touch on how it does in the ratings. I think it's going to be really interesting to see. Yeah.
So, any other thoughts?
No, I'm just, like you said, I'm excited that finally we have something that we are excited every week to consistently watch and really, you know, pay attention to. And it's just, like you said, it's an exciting time to be a wrestling fan.
It's like Arrow all over again.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
So anyways, guys, let us know on the comments below what you thought of NXT this night. What are you thinking about AEW versus NXT Wednesday Night Wars? Who are your favorite wrestlers right now? Anything wrestling involved or anything at all, go ahead and comment below. In the meantime, you can follow me, Kaorious.
You can follow me and Campea.
You can follow us at Team Amasian, and we will catch you guys next time for some more wrestling talk.